that LeBron has put up during the win streak, they're not all that different from his season numbers. If you look at the field goal percentage, he's at 58 for the season, 43%, which would be a career high from three-point range. But, Griff, you pointed out that the offensive numbers aren't really what's fueled the win streak.
Yeah,
what's changed about
I think
him?
it's the defensive side of the ball for LeBron in particular. You know, he was very open about not being in shape when he came in because he had the ankle issue. And so he was taking his breaks on the defensive end because he was carrying such an enormous burden of the offense. Because when the season started, people forget now because they score so easily, they were really struggling to score because the fit of all those pieces when Rose played was not very good. So the blessing to the Rose injury for them was that it made them change the mix a little bit, and Dwayne with that second unit is carrying the load to such a degree they're now outscoring their opponents while Bron sits down, so he doesn't have to do as much when he comes back, so he plays more defense in that circumstance.
Yeah, they're finding the rhythm collectively as a group, and that translates on both ends of the floor, and definitely defensively. I mean, prior to this win streak, I mean, they were giving up like 42% from the three-point line, which, I mean, you know, which is almost historic numbers if you stretch that out over the course of a season. So, you know, they're kind of getting in shape, getting comfortable with the new faces, and I think you're right, Griff. Just now putting Wade with the second unit, Rose is out. You know, everyone's sort of starting to get their rhythm, their timing, and it's helped that they haven't played against some of the best competition. But just getting that feeling of winning is great for the morale, great for the psyche. Obviously, they've had great success the last 2 years, but you know, it was at a point there where it was a little touch and go, and teams that they should be winning against, teams that you know normally they take care of business against, were having their way against the Cavs. So they've kind of turned that corner. Indiana's obviously a team that's surprising this year, playing very well at home, a lot of energy. But you know, if Cleveland comes out and continues with the way they play, the way they trust each other, and LeBron and his efficiency, yeah, they should have no trouble tonight.
Definitely been an uptick on the defensive end. They were 30th in the league in defensive efficiency. That's last. They've been 7th during the win streak. And all those 13 wins have come without Derrick Rose on the floor. Hasn't played in more than a month now with a left ankle issue. He revealed today he has a bone spur, had one before the season began, that may require surgery. Since he last played, Rose also left the team for a bit, reportedly to consider his basketball future. Now back with the club, Rose strongly refuted the suggestion that the only reason he returned to the club was to collect the $80 million some odd dollars he reportedly has left on his Adidas contract that requires him to remain an active player.
I don't care about I could be rude. I don't care about no money. Like, it's not about, I got saved up enough money. It's not about that. If I wanted to leave, I would have left. But like I said, coming back here, starting with rehab, that's my first step. Keep it simple and just giving my team support and letting them see what I see off the court.
Well, for a relatively young player with an MVP on his resume, it is amazing everything that Derrick Rose has gone through over the last few years in terms of injuries and, frankly, bizarre situations where he's disappeared from teams over the last couple of years.
Yeah, no question. It's tough. And, you know, as someone who's been through injuries and had, you know, setback after setback over a period of time, you know, the physical toll is one thing, but the mental and emotional, that's where it becomes a problem. And, you know, you invest so much energy, so much of your time to just get back. And it's such a hill to climb, a mountain to climb, you know, getting healthy, getting back to feeling good. I thought he finished last season in New York. Despite the situation there in New York, I thought he played good basketball. He looked good. He was moving well. You come to a new situation. You feel like you've sort of put all that behind you. You're healthy. You have a chance to possibly play for a championship. And then you have another setback. So the mental and emotional scars will surface. You know, look, Cleveland doesn't necessarily need him at this point in time and maybe thrived a bit without him. But if Derrick Rose can get back and be healthy and figure out how to fit in, he can be helpful to this team, particularly in the postseason. And I hope he does. I hope he can, you know, at least have that experience after all that he's been through with all the setbacks and injuries.
Well, he's certainly, you know, makes your roster more talented if he's a healthy player, particularly with Isaiah Thomas coming back at some point. with Rose coming off your bench, that's a much, much deeper looking team than what the Cavs have right now.
Well, and with Isaiah's ability to space the court and shoot, Rose's lack of floor spacing isn't quite as profound as it was when he was starting with the group earlier with Dwayne also on the floor. They didn't have as much shooting and spacing. But, Grant, I go back to something we experienced together in Phoenix when you told me coming back for you, the most difficult piece was not the psychology of being injured. It's accepting the role you're going to have to play now. You're not a superstar anymore. And psychologically, what that does to you, it takes a toll, particularly on a player as young as Derrick.
No question. I mean, that's one of the big things. Look, you have to, there's a certain standard I think you're accustomed to. And, I think as a player, and particularly with all that you've been through, you have to realize and accept, as Griff said, look, you're not that player, but you can still add tremendous value to a ball club, and you can still have tremendous fulfillment from that experience. I had, talking about that time for us in Phoenix together, my role may not have been like it was earlier in my career, but it was a tremendous sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. We didn't get the ultimate prize in winning a championship, but you get an appreciation for being healthy and playing on some good teams. And, of course, playing with LeBron and in that environment, you have a realistic chance of getting to the finals and possibly winning. So if he can accept that and embrace that, I think he can find fulfillment and joy as he goes forward.
There's something.